pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being in here when it's 72 degrees out there. Nice and sunny. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of that sunshine tonight. We will call meeting to order. I have 5:31. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mac Rankin. Here. Ben Metzger. Here. Eric Christensen.
Here.
Ryan Whirling. Sue Wilson.
Here.
Jeanette Campbell. Brady Darr.
Here. Perfect. Okay, we are going to start tonight by opening the public hearing for the Whittier Playground Project. Opportunity for anybody for public comment on this proposed project. Anyone? Okay, so public hearing is now closed. The next item is approval of the agenda. So this is all considered under one motion unless a board member would like to pull any item for discussion.
Motion to approve the agenda as is.
Motion by Ben, seconded by Eric. I guess there should have been a discussion. Discussion at all? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, board member reports. Any updates or anything you would like to share? I found out last night at a meeting, a parent meeting, that the United States soccer coaches gave a first-time team academic award to Indianola girls soccer team last year for a 3.6 team GPA. So I didn't know they did those things, and so that was cool.
That's impressive. How many girls approximately?
That was 23 last year.
Well, pretty
Now the
darn good
program-
average.
Yeah. Really good average.
So,
I didn't know they did that, so I thought that was cool.
talk to that coach and figure out what he's doing.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Good. Okay. Public comment time. So speakers are reminded to keep comments to 5 minutes. The board will listen to public comments, but we will not engage with or ask any additional questions. And that is per board policy 213. Do we have anyone signed up to speak? Okay. Molly Regale, you are up first.
Good evening, members of the board. The statement I'm making tonight has been submitted in writing for inclusion in the meeting record, and thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. My name is Molly Regala, and I'm a parent of 2 students currently enrolled at Indianola Senior High School, both with IEPs. I want to walk the board through a governance issue that began prior to my February 19th written request asking for the board to consider a communication directive that had been issued to me in November of 2025. That request asked the board to review the directive in closed session because the concerns involved more than a single interaction between a parent and a teacher. The matter involves student records and educational decision-making. The matter involves scope, proportionality, parent participation, and the absence of policy safeguards governing how directives affecting parents are issued and maintained. When I did not receive a response, I followed up again on February 25th. The board president responded on February 26th, indicating the email was under review and that a response would be provided when the process was complete. I appreciate that acknowledgement. On March 6th, I received notice from the board president declining the request for closed session and directing the matter back to administration under board policy 210.08 and policy 213.01. Following that guidance, I raised these concerns through administrative challenges on March 6th before bringing them forward publicly tonight. I respect the board's authority over procedures. However, when the only mechanism for resolving a concern is through the same administrative action that created the concern, the issue is no longer purely administrative. At that point, it becomes a matter of governance and board oversight. The directive itself rose from communication between myself and one educator during a still ongoing IEP dispute related to my daughter. I have acknowledged my role in that communication and taken responsibility for it. However, the directive did not remain limited to that circumstance. Instead, it extended to restrict communication with staff across the high school and extended to matters involving my son, who was and continues to not be part of the underlying dispute. The directive also lacks clear parameters. For a period of time, I was operating under the understanding that I could not communicate with any high school staff. Only later was I instructed that certain offices, such as attendance and the nurse, were exceptions. Because of that uncertainty, I sought clarification at several points regarding which staff members were included in the restriction and which were not, including any context in which it may be appropriate to contact staff directly. Those requests did not result in a clear explanation of the directive scope. Instead, the directive itself was reiterated without clarification. Even today, it remains unclear which staff members are included in the restriction and which are not, and there remains no context in which direct communication is allowed. When directives affecting parent communication are implemented without clearly defined scope, duration, review, or appeal, that raises governance and board oversight concerns. The board's own policies speak directly to parent participation and retaliation. Board Policy 505.08 and Regulation 505.08-R affirm the district's commitment to meaningful parent and family engagement, including communication, collaboration with staff, and participation in decisions affecting a child's education. In addition, Regulation 102-R, the Equal Educational Opportunity Grievance Procedure, prohibits retaliation against individuals who file complaints on or participate in investigations. Whether intentional or not, the timing and breadth of this directive, issued shortly after a state complaint was filed, created a situation where the district's actions could reasonably be perceived as retaliatory by impact. That is not simply a communication issue. It becomes a governance risk for the district when actions that affect a parent's ability to participate in their child's education occur in close proximity to protected advocacy activities. However, the governance issues extend beyond that concern. While the district has policies affirming parent engagement and prohibiting retaliation, there are no board policies that define how communication directives involving parents may be issued, how broad they may be, how long they remain in place, or what review process exists for modification or removal. There are no policy standards governing scope. There are no policy standards governing proportionality. There are no policy standards governing duration. There are no policy standards governing review. When policies are absent, decisions of this magnitude rely entirely on administrative discretion rather than policy guidance. The Individuals with Disability Education Act, or IDEA, recognizes parents as full participants in the educational decision-making process. Communication with educators is a fundamental part of that participation. Meaningful participation is not simply the ability to attend meetings. It includes the ability to communicate with educators responsible for implementing a student's program, ask questions, seek clarification, and gain an ongoing dialogue about how services are being delivered, the discussion, progress, or lack thereof. When communications...
Yeah, are you almost close?
I'm almost done.
Okay.
Yep. When communication structures lack clarity, when transparency is limited, or when questions go unanswered, it becomes difficult for parents to understand how decisions are being made or how services are being implemented. It can also become unclear whether responses are coming directly from the educators responsible for implementing a student's program or whether responses are being filtered through administrative channels. In each instance, when communication was directed through administration in accordance with the directive, I requested to be copied on communication between administration and educators involved and vice versa for transparency purposes. Those requests were denied, making it difficult to determine whether responses reflected the perspective of the educator responsible for delivering instruction or an administrative response was provided on their behalf. That lack of clarity affects meaningful parent participation. When administrative directives affect communication without clear policy standards, they can create barriers to the meaningful parent participation that federal law requires. This raises an important question for the board to consider. What does meaningful participation look like in practice, and who determines when and how it has been limited? Directives that affect parent participation should have clearly defined scope, duration, and review. Parents should not have to navigate uncertainty about who they are allowed to communicate with regarding their child's education. This ultimately becomes a matter of board governance and oversight. I encourage the board to consider establishing policy safeguards so that directives affecting parent communication are guided by clear standards, proportionality, and structured review. When governance gaps combined with administrative discretion intersect with federally protected parent participation rights, they tend to attract scrutiny from outside oversight bodies. Clear policies protect not only families, but districts. If any board member would find it helpful to better understand my experience or the concerns I have raised, I would welcome the opportunity to speak with you individually outside of the public meeting. I believe thoughtful conversations can often provide additional context that is difficult to convey fully within the limited time of the public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Patty Alexander is next.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you for your service to our students and families. My name is Patty Alexander, and I'm here representing many moms and dads that are concerned about AI. I'm also representative of the Moms for Liberty, Warren County. Artificial intelligence is no longer a future concept. It is here in our classrooms. It has extraordinary potential to enhance learning, improve efficiency, and expand access to information in ways we could not have imagined even a few years ago. Used wisely, AI can be a powerful educational tool. But with that opportunity comes serious responsibility. We have already seen what happens when technology outpaces guardrails. Smartphones and social media were introduced without fully understanding their long-term impact on children. Today we see rising anxiety, depression, and addiction. With AI, the stakes are even higher. That is why I am asking you to adopt our AI proclamation. This proclamation does not reject innovation. It embraces it with boundaries. It affirms that parents have the fundamental right to direct the upbringing and education of their children. It ensures transparency about what data is collected and how algorithms are used. It protects student data from commercial exploitation and profiling. It requires meaningful parental consent and oversight. Most importantly, it makes clear that AI must remain a tool to support learning and that the keys to the AI toolbox belong to parents. No algorithm should replace a teacher's judgment. No platform should shape a child's worldview. No AI system should conduct or monitor social emotional learning or provide mental health services to students. And no AI tool should operate without clear safeguards and accountability. This is about the balance of innovation with responsibility, progress with protection. By adopting this proclamation, you are sending a clear message. Technology will serve families in this district, not the other way around. You are affirming that transparency, student safety, and parental rights are non-negotiable. Our children deserve opportunity. They also deserve protection. AI can help strengthen education, but only if we put the proper guardrails in place now. I respectfully urge you to adopt this proclamation and lead with clarity, courage, and commitment to the families you serve. Thank you very much. And I have copies of sample school board policy and the proclamation, which I'll share with you.
Thank you, Patty. Anyone else? For public comment? Okay. Consent agenda. Does any board member need to pull anything from the consent agenda? Yeah. Okay.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion made by Eric.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just have a question on the open enroll. Was this the deadline for next year?
Yeah, so March 1st, they have to have them submitted and approved, so.
It seemed like quite a few open enrollments, so I figured, okay.
Yep, so these are any new students that want to potentially come into the district. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming, but that they have the opportunity to come.
Okay, gotcha.
But those that are already in our district, then they just sign as returning
It's just a
students.
continuous, yep. Unless they break that enrollment, then they have to re-enroll.
There's quite a few coming in, so.
Okay, we have our motion, second, discussion, anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Okay, board committee reports. Teaching and learning, who's up? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we met on the 12th, and it looks like the first thing that we discussed that day was the framework that we're using for instruction. And we talked about how that framework is part of the peer review process, and it's worked into coaching. It sounds like it's facilitating some really great conversations about quality teaching, and it crosswalks well with Iowa teaching standards. We also talked about instructional coaching impact, so collecting feedback from teachers, and how the coaches are observed and evaluated and that sort of thing. So I loved this, so I wrote it down word for word. They were talking about how our coaches are trying really hard to help teachers find the answers within themselves, because the answers are already there, and I think that is what coaching absolutely should be. They also talked about the Algebra 2 online learning course and how we're going to be going through new standards, and so that course is going to need to be rewritten. It sounds like the bulk of the math standards are happening in Algebra 1, Geometry Algebra 2, and so making sure that we have that online component for students who need that. And then we got an update on the IDEA differentiated accountability. We selected the secondary transition plan, and it sounded like Ms. Baker was really excited about the conversations that they were able to have, and the training and the coaching that they're getting, but they're going to be working for access to work-based learning options. I don't know if anybody has any questions beyond that. It feels like these meetings happen so close to when we meet as a big board, so it feels a long time ago, but.
Okay. Mr. Ryan, you want to add anything, or that wraps it up? Okay, we'll go on to technology.
What's that? You want me to take it?
Yeah, you go ahead and take it.
Okay.
I'll do the slides.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad Patty didn't stick around for the update here.
I know, right?
One of the things that Ray and his staff are working on is kind of an AI guidance materials and thinking through all of that. And so there are folks involved in putting that together and thinking through all the ramifications and safe ways to use AI. One of the things, I think Ray said it, I think it was at a conference you came across, or maybe it was just in your research you came across Iowa City's.
Yeah, that was, we just gathered a bunch from other districts and kind of looked at what best practices were, and Iowa City's was one we really liked.
Yeah, so it sounds like that one really stood out as a great way to go, and so Ray's proactively reached out with them to see if we can borrow things appropriately there and not reinvent the wheel. So it seems like a lot of good things happening there. Another topic we discussed was device replacement for students in grades 6 through 12. And so just trying to do that, in a financially responsible way, in a way that makes it makes it easy to maintain those for the IT department and keep track of all that. And K through 5 will come at a later date, but right now the focus is on 6 through 12. Those are the big items I had. What, Janine, did you have anything else? Do you have any other items on your list that I forgot, or Sue?
Well, the majority of it was the AI component, so yeah, it is too bad they left.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, it's a big topic, and we have to make sure we're using that appropriately, and it feels like we're taking the right steps to be able to govern that and use it appropriately.
What do we do with our old devices once they've
So,
expired their shelf life with us, I guess?
so often we try to resell those. There are vendors that usually take those. In this case, we'll be keeping those because our old, so if we stick with our K through 5 devices, they're pretty old. And so we will keep all these other old devices to use as replacements for those until we're able to replace the elementary ones, so.
And you did say there was much resale value.
On the Chromebooks, there's very little resell to those. I mean, sometimes I've heard of districts getting, $5, $10, $15 out of those. So, and sometimes they get nothing. So,
Kind of like a phone, a couple
Yep.
years, they have no value.
and these are at that point where we may not get anything out of them, but we'll keep those for at least another year and see. Again, we're hoping that we can replace all the 6 through 12, but we'll just have to see how that RFP turns out.
Okay.
I mean, with the state of the devices that they're in, I'm sure that you're starting to see a lot of them come in broken or falling apart or whatever. Are we taking their age into consideration
Oh, yeah.
with billing parents,
With what?
with sending bills?
We actually, the only time we bill parents for anything anymore is if it's intentional, or, if we deem that it's intentional, a kid, we tell us, a lot of times we can tell if it's intentional. Otherwise, our accidental damage insurance pays for all those repairs.
Finance.
Who's up? Us. Well, the biggest thing that I learned was that Yummy's Donuts is delicious.
Did you guys go?
And I did try them later, and
Don't
they
you guys have your
are
meetings?
as advertised. Yeah, they're really good.
Did you,
Snacks
I
on the
did
way to
hear
high school.
that you can inject them
Oh,
with what you want. Like, my friend likes just plain Jimmy John's, or what are they, Long Johns?
yeah.
But her friends like Jimmy John's. It's all the same. Anyway, she goes, but I have one, and she goes, I have one daughter that likes jelly. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll just make her one. And she was like, you just personalize your donuts? I'm like, yeah. I was like,
We went on a Saturday morning, which was a terrible choice because they were still pretty inundated with
oh yeah.
people. So we did not customize anything, but they were delicious. And had nothing to do with finance. I'm delaying. You can take it, Eric. You're the numbers guy.
Okay.
There you go.
Just puts her head down, don't make direct eye contact.
That's really minimal.
You know students really well, don't you?
I did my best.
So I think a lot of discussion had to do with the budget, right? And at that point, we did not have a solid number on what kind of increase the state was going to provide. We also talked about sort of our the balance in our management fund and how over time we need to probably try to bring that down. And then talked about submitting our budget and typically how you submit that sort of a worst case since there's uncertainty about what that state funding will look like. And so the assumption that went into that was a 0%. And then another topic we had was, I forget the exact name of it, but Storm Protection Fund, which is sort of like gap insurance for a catastrophic event, I guess. So we kind of had some brief conversations, high level, about did it make sense to pursue something like that or not? And I think for now, I think that we're planning to hold on that. Audit. Yeah, big win for Brian. So audit report was unmodified, so that's
Well done.
that's a good thing.
That's okay, Steve.
You can still take
Well
credit.
done.
You're here now.
Thank you. Thanks for your honesty.
Which the number on that we had projected at 0, it's been set at 2, right?
It has been now. However, you will see even on the Department of Management, it's still at 0%, because it has to be signed and in law at a certain point.
Got you.
And it missed that deadline.
With that, what's it, it's 8,000 what per student? What's that bring the?
Oh, just over 8,000,
Just over
because we're at
8,000.
7,800 right now, so this would be, put us just over 8,000.
Okay.
I want to say it's like $168 a kid more, but I'm not positive on that number at 2%.
You're up. Monthly financials.
February financials are presented for you. If there's any questions, everything seems to be in line. There's nothing way out of line with any of the budget figures versus actual.
Right? Can you go up a little bit? There was like a 327% or something. Yeah, any comments on that one? I guess it's sort of a small number there, but.
Yeah, and that's revenues coming in.
Okay.
A lot of that has to do with the equipment that's getting reworked, or that insurance that covers that type of stuff.
Okay.
So it'll have to be an adjustment we make for next year to up that. That's usually, I use a pretty conservative figure for that, just because you never know. It's kind of the miscellaneous section.
Count on that revenue if we're not sure, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
like you say, it's a smaller amount versus, the whole $31 million budget.
Right.
It's pretty small amount.
Yeah, pretty immature. Yeah, thank you. You can see I'm looking at your new column. I like it. Go ahead if you can scroll down there. Can you go up a page there, the bottom of the previous page. There in the total revenue line.
Yeah, this is because we sold those sales tax bonds.
Gotcha, yep. Okay,
That wasn't
thank
budgeted
you.
in there. So that's why that's such a huge amount.
Yep, makes sense.
And we have 2 years to spend that money, and we're well on our way to reaching that. That should cover both, all of 1A and 1B and part of phase 2.
It's a starting with phase 2.
Okay.
So we'll just need a motion to approve the financial reports.
Motion to approve financial reports.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 6-0. Okay, next is the budget guarantee resolution. This item guarantees the district will have a minimum of 101% of the prior year's regular program budget. Do we want an explanation?
Because of the loss of students of just over 90 kids, that puts us at a negative, I would say, new money situation to where we are this year. So with this resolution, it allows us to get 1% kind of new money for next year instead of being at a negative amount. Even with the 2% increase in SSA, that still has us at a negative value. So this moves it to at least 1% new money.
And how many times can you do that?
2 or 3 where kind of, then you actually,
Limited minutes.
yeah, then you start feeling the negative amount. We're hoping the loss of students was a one-time thing, but we'll see moving forward. But that was pretty common across the state and really across the nation. And we're anticipating that number to level off moving forward because we had a very large graduating class last year and a very small kindergarten class coming in to replace them. And hopefully those increase in open enrollments will help with that.
Make a motion to accept the adoption of board resolution for the 2026-2027 regular program budget adjustment resolution under Iowa Code Section 257.14.
Mac?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mac Rinkin,
Aye.
Ben Metzger,
Aye.
Eric Christensen,
Aye.
Sue Wilson,
Aye.
Jeanette Campbell,
Aye.
Brady Dar.
Motion carries 6-0. The next one we're going to do is the setting of the public hearing number 1 for the 2026-27 budget. Looking at Thursday, April 2nd at 7 a.m. Making sure that we have an early morning meeting if that works better for the public to attend. So this is the first public hearing we'll set Thursday, April 2nd at 7 a.m. And so this corresponds with our already board facility meeting.
Make motion to set the public hearing for the date and time listed.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Now, we also have a second public hearing for the same 2026-2027 budget, and an evening meeting, so it helps with those in the public that would work better, and that is looking at Monday, April 13th at 5:30 p.m. This corresponds with our already regular board meeting.
We're going to make a motion for the second public hearing as listed.
Ben made the motion.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. The final item under finance is the issuance of the 2026-27 teacher contracts. This is for the last year of their current contract, and the agreed upon increase is 3.2%.
As you can see, the highlight part, I added somebody that was inadvertently left off the list, so they're added there.
Okay.
Hannah Dusenberry.
But that can just go into the motion. Do we have to add her?
No, I think it's,
Either, yeah, it's just calling it out that that's an ad in there, so.
Remind me again, the negotiated contract was for 3 years, right? 4. And what was the total number of raises it combined all 4 years?
I don't know, I'd have to get you that.
I'm
I
just
don't
trying to
know.
remember. No, I mean,
Well, this year, what's that amount?
3.2%.
What's the dollar amount? 600 and some,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like 638 is what I'm recalling. So 638, 3.2, last year was 3.1, so about 600,000. I'm guessing that's pretty average, so 2.4 average over the 4 years. Round numbers, not exact numbers.
no, I was trying to just recall.
Okay, so we'll just need motion.
Make a
motion to.
Go ahead.
To approve the issuance of the certified staff contracts as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
One more thing on finance real quick, if I may. Just wanted to publicly say thank you to the audit committee from the 3 individuals from the community, Jane Whalen, Gina Piper, and Clint Welling, for taking the time to review the audit and going through that with Brian and I.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll move on to facilities. Committee report.
Okay, I'll take this one now. That high school asbestos abatement, we didn't have that for our meeting.
We did not have the tabs, they were opening it that afternoon.
Okay.
So we just talked about that, and then I think Sue asked about, would we have those tabs? And so that's what we have in
So
there.
do we need to address that?
Well, we'll do the committee report first, and then we'll go into motions.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, well, yeah, Bernie talked about everything that's going on in our great high school project. You know, how the academic wings are moving along. He says we're 85 to 95% done. So he was talking about like the concrete floors are polished, the floors in the common areas just about done, furniture, which should be in mid-June. He said there's going to be a lot of cleanup is still necessary and coming. Cabinetry's been installed, and they've just started on the guidance department area, but they're doing the academic wing first and then moving out. Did I get everything up there? So, yes, pleased. And then he went on to the baseball, softball field. They're still working on the dugouts, the batting cages, I think is what he said. Their fence installation, 90% completed. Like it says, batting cage, softball field's been installed, batting cage, baseball field, they're still working on that. And then he spoke about the Whittier Playground project, and that is also, you have the bids here. And he mentioned that one bid was significantly less than the other bid. What was it, 30 or 40,000, something?
It's almost
like that?
40,000, I think.
And I glanced at that today. But he said, even though it was less, they did our courtyard turf and have also done projects in the area, and people have been very pleased. So it wasn't like we took a lesser bid and gave up quality. So that was good. And he said the project timeline scheduled to begin June 1st and then completed by August 3rd, which is good. And let's see here. Oh, and he talked about the whole asbestos. That will be done during transition, right? Or in June when
It'll start June
demolition.
15th, yeah.
When we have the demolition, the end of June. And then the last topic, it doesn't look like it's up there, is our door problem. Right?
It's
Is it
new. They
Did they-
did the whole frame,
So
to our
they-
surprise.
They came in by the deadline.
They did
At
come
the
in by the
DOC,
deadline.
well,
The DOC.
at the DOC.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we did give a 10-day notice to our contractor. And he came in and completed it. Today would be the end of 10 days, and they completed it on Friday. They had some stickers that I believe came in today, and they put those on, so that would complete it. Now we have a little waiting period to make sure that that was the fix and that it works.
I was going to say, how long do we have to assure quality control on
I think our comfortability is up to a month to ensure, which will give us until the next board meeting to make sure of that. Usually it happened within the first week, week to 10 days about, that we were seeing some issues after they would come in and adjust.
That's great news. I wasn't expecting that at all. I just expected we'd have to find someone else. So that's good news. Okay. And then the last thing that was mentioned that I don't see up there is, do we have to mention anything about the signage that's on the back of the scoreboard?
Oh, on the DOT, yeah, we certainly can.
Okay.
So we got an email from somebody at the Department of Transportation. The scoreboard at the baseball field has 2 advertising signs on the back side of it. That area is zoned R1, and so you cannot advertise anything on the back of signs in that area. And so Bernie said, well, wait a minute, this was addressed several years ago and we were grandfathered in. They acknowledged that, yes, at that time we were grandfathered in. However, it's not an emergency, but when that sign gets changed out, we do need to take down the advertising on the back or ask for it to be rezoned to something else. So we'll deal with that. They were hoping, again, not an emergency, but maybe by 2030 that we would replace that sign and have
So
that.
Bernie's not worrying about it.
Yeah, Bernie said he's not worried about it at all. It's not going to be his worry.
Who did that communication come from?
The Iowa Department of Transportation, the DOT.
My response is when we get a stoplight at Casey's, so the kids stop crossing 4 lanes of traffic, because the DOT, that's their area too. But we're not focused on that. We're focused on.
Another rack there after school today.
Was
I
there-
saw that,
Yeah. I mean,
By
I
Casey's?
don't know how many have to be there before it goes red on the DOT's list, but
And there were several vehicles, police officers there today. So,
well, it's not just car accidents, it's our kids getting hit when they want to. So, anyways, I told Bertie you can give the DOT my name. We'll change that sign when we've got some other things. No. Okay, any other thing on the report? And then we'll move into these motions. Okay, so where do you want to put it? The first motion is for the high school asbestos. How do you say that word again?
Asbestos abatement.
Abatement. So the recommendation is up there. For someone to make a motion.
I'll move that we approve awarding the abatement project to REW Services Corporation of Des Moines for the amount of $102,048. This will be a save or a PEPAL expense outside the original bid amount. Second.
Further discussion?
I don't know that I've ever seen a description of all the phases of the project, but will there be more demolition that will happen where we'll have to do this again? Does this cover everything we're tearing down?
This will cover everything that we're tearing down, yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. The next motion we need is for the Whittier Playground project.
I make a
The
motion.
tabs are on there too, they're linked in there if you want to see those as
Are
well.
we ready for the motion?
Uh-huh.
I make a motion to approve the low bid submitted by Turf, et cetera, of Lee Summit, Missouri for a total construction cost of $209,106.
Second.
And just to mention, I know we've talked about this will be a Pearl expense, which is that public recreation levy that we get.
And should be lots of happy parents because their kids won't get their shoes all dirty during recess, so.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed 6-0. And the last motion we need is for the sale or the disposition of the high school equipment, furnishing and supplies. Basically, we really want anything that can be repurposed in that building to be used by somebody that can repurpose it. So really opening a portion of the high school building to the public and private entities to be able to remove any available items with all the removal, transportation, and associated costs of the responsibility of the party that is moving it. Any items not removed may be disposed of during the demolition of the facility.
Moving to approve the district's ability to open public and private entities, open the building to public and private entities to remove items that are available, with all the removal, transportation, associated costs to be the responsibility of the receiving party during the demolition process of the facility.
Second.
Any other discussion?
This might be a silly question, but if people are buying things and removing them themselves, do we have like liability if somebody gets hurt?
So we're not selling the items.
Okay.
And there would be a liability
Okay.
with any of it. But that would come underneath any, even if we were doing it, we would have that liability in there,
Okay.
so. They would not be in there by themselves, for sure. They would have, Bernie or our maintenance people will have certain times that people can come in and
We're looking at a
access it.
certain day and
Yeah.
times.
Yep. So what we're doing tonight is allowing us to have this to happen, and then we have to run it in the paper for 2 consecutive weeks. And we'll do that we'll set the dates that they can come in, which will be between when we move out and take everything that we want and before asbestos abatement happens. So we might have just a few days in there where people can get in, see what they want. Bernie has had the city and the county both contact him, as well as some of our local private schools contact, just to come in and see what's in there and what might be available to them. So when that time comes, they know what they're looking at.
And Bernie did mention that they are keeping back a certain amount to replenish.
Right. So things like, the toilets that are still in good, we have toilets all over the district, so we want to save some of those, but we don't want to hoard them. We don't want to take all of them and then just have them sit and rust out or whatever. The same with door handles, things like that we would want to save, 50 or so of those, but then have them open to everybody else.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Welcome, Ryan. Right in time for your policy committee report.
Kind of like the closer. He came in from the bullpen for the policy and bring us home.
Like a longer meeting.
No pressure, Ryan. You're off.
All right.
I don't think. Let's see here, these are the second reading, well, we made changes for the second reading, so we can just skip through that. And then on revise, there was some mostly clarification from the state corrections. You'll see if you guys looked at them. It's so easy to just, not that we need to go through them one by one, but if you do, you can see the green that is an addition from the state and the red that is scrapped. Just little sentences here and there, so.
Are you talking about the first reading ones now?
The first, yeah,
First.
revised, yeah.
So no
It's
substantive.
just easy to go through them individually on that, just look at them. We didn't make any,
Ray, can you just open one of those up and so
Yeah.
you can see what it looks like?
One of the review ones?
did we?
Yeah.
Reviews, we didn't make any changes.
Revised, yeah, revised.
We talked about one, but we didn't make any changes, right?
There was 7 of them under review. They were all 600 series that had no changes that were reviewed. And then the revised, there's a handful, 10 or so, that had minor corrections.
Like this here.
Yeah.
So just wording changes. essentially,
Yeah. So nothing we put in.
IASB is making the recommendations
Yeah.
on those, so
And that's what the
pretty
green-
minor wording changes.
And that's what the green is.
Correct, so we,
That's what the green is.
Okay.
Thank you.
within this system, you can compare our policy to IASB's policy. And if you remember, we've just done an IASB audit of all of our policies. And so then they make suggestions, or hey, you're out of compliance in this area, and so those show up for us. We put them in the green to make them in compliance and then present them to the committee.
Or if there's any legislation that went through that would change a policy that would also look the same, you'd scrap what isn't in compliance with new legislation, and green would reflect the new.
I do try and make note of those just for ease of everybody in your summaries, kind of what's IASB, and if it's a mandatory policy or a mandatory exhibit, that all of that's laid in there so that you can see that.
And this does complete our total audit.
This is
This
600.
is maybe the whole.
Yep.
So we get a sabbatical from policy for a while.
Actually, no.
Actually, it's never good.
Actually, we've got to go back to the ones that are within the 5-year review, so. Nice try, though. That's a good try.
We do get
I thought you might make a motion
We might
quickly.
get donuts or something.
I heard that new place is really good.
Good, we can go over to Yummy's.
They taste like Jimmy John's.
It is good. Never had to rebuild Jimmy John's.
You should go in and ask. I heard on the school board meeting, you guys wanted to have Jimmy John's in your donuts.
Make a
Oh,
motion to
minutes.
approve the second reading
Yes.
of the policies listed there.
I'll second it.
Casey Ryan.
Okay, I want to ask about policy 902.04 one more time.
Yes.
Are you in second reading?
Yes, sorry, did I jump ahead?
Yep.
Nope, I just want to make sure I knew what you were talking about.
It's the live broadcast or recording. It just has that sentence in there that we've struck that says district live streams all regular public board meetings. And I know when I asked about it before, oh, my voice cracked. I think it was mentioned that like if we decide we have to move venues and we can't stream it, that might be why I want to remove the language. I'm just wondering, can we find a way to accommodate for that without getting rid of the written commitment to having these be publicly streamed? Because I feel like there was a while where we did not stream them, and it kind of was a deal to get it back, and I don't want to lose that.
I think the reason that it was originally removed was in the event that we have an issue with technology in the moment, where we don't have to delay it. So if there's some sort of language, I guess, that we could implement that says, we're not gonna delay a meeting at 5:30 when everybody's here.
Right.
If we have issues with technology. I think that's happened a couple of times. I don't know that there'd be a problem with that, but I don't know that we wanna tie our hands on not having a meeting simply because we have an issue with technology.
So could it be as simple as just having an add-on, keeping that sentence and having an add-on that basically just reaffirms, you know, absent some technical glitch, we will live stream?
I mean, you might even be able to accomplish what I'm asking for by saying something like, we'll make all effort to live stream every regular public board meeting or something.
The district intends to live stream all regular public meetings barring any technical glitches or venue changes or something like that.
Yeah.
I just would feel better about that because like I said, I remember for a while where it was really, you had to be here to see what was going on and that I would hate to lose it because it's been, I know they're not always watched by a ton of people, but I think it's important the community can see.
Sounds good.
Do we need to make a motion then to pull this?
We can.
What reading is this, this one?
Second.
Second.
So, yeah, I would-
He can amend his motion to approve.
Okay. I'm taking
Can I
that.
read this to you before you amend it, just so you know what to make sure. So in place of the second red strike, I'll change that to the district intends to live stream all regular meetings barring any technical difficulties or venue changes.
That would make me very happy.
Do you need to have the word public in there? And the public was in the prior wording, I don't know if it's important to have that in there or not.
All regular, yeah, I can, regular public board meetings. So if you could make a motion with the adjustment to 902.4.
So Matt, what did you say the motion would be then?
Ryan can just amend his motion to include the,
The adjustment to
Yeah.
902.4.
Okay. Motion to approve the second reading of the amendment to 902.4, whatever that was. Is that 902.4? With the new
Verbiage.
Verbiage, yes, there we go.
And did you just, second, Max? Okay, so then, any more discussion? Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, board calendar review.
First reading
Oh. Oh,
of the next set, the 600 series. So we just approved the second reading
oh.
of last month's first reading.
Oh,
So
down
they
there.
now-
Yep, got it.
make a motion to approve the first reading of the reviewed, revised, and minor updated policies as presented.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed 7-0.
So I did anticipate that public hearing and added that to the 7 a.m. April 2nd facilities meeting on your agenda, or on your calendar.
Do we need to have the second?
It will happen at the board meeting.
Okay.
So it'll just be a part of
It doesn't
the,
have to be,
no,
okay. Do we need like a quorum there?
for the April 2nd, just a
So
quorum.
it's okay, even though it's facilities will happen after, we'll just,
Yep, so generally what we try and do is if we have a special event like that, a meeting or a public hearing, tie it to when board members are already going to be present, so that we could make quorum in there.
This is usually pretty, you want people to call in or you want them in person?
You could do either. You just have to let me know, because if you're gonna call in, I have to make it available to all of you in there, so.
So somebody not in facilities can make April 2nd.
I will be there.
You'll be there,
Yeah, I can.
Jeanette will be there.
April 2nd.
Someone else can, okay, all right.
Farming, life.
Anything else? Notice the meetings that are off for spring break. And then I think, right, does it go into June? And then I think July, we have no committee meetings, so. I don't want to look that far ahead. It's like summer, I don't want to go that fast.
School's done. School's gonna be out before we know.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It'll be
Anything
basically.
else?
yeah.
Anyone have anything else?
All right.
Oh, seriously. Serious. Motion
Right.
Motion to start, I mean.
Yeah.
Second that.
Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All that want to be out of here and go out and enjoy the nice weather, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 7-0 carries, and we adjourned at 6:30.
Now we're on the dot.
Okay, ready?